Hello, everyone. And our big topic today is, as you see, terminologies. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Of course, we're not going to cover all the ELT terminologies. We're just going to go over around 40 basic terminologies. In the main session and in the breakout rooms, we will have one task or two tasks in the breakout rooms. So just please have a look. I'm going to give you a minute to read these commitments when you're in the main session, like what we're doing now. Please read them. Okay? Clear enough?
Yes.
In the breakout rooms, please pay attention to this. So I see some of you are still not muting themselves. You can mute yourself now. Unless you want to say something, you can open your microphone. Remember this one, keep yourself muted unless there is a chance to unmute. Thank you. Yeah, sure. There will be a certificate of attendance. I will send you in the chat box after we finish. It's in a Word format. You can just add your name and you can save it as a PDF file and picture as well. I see some questions in the chat actually. So I will take them. If they are not quite relevant, I will take them at the end of the session. Okay? All right. Ready, guys? Please have a look at the session aims. Today we have 4 aims. The first one is about the definition of terminology or terminologies, what it means. And the second one is about the difference between initialisms and acronyms. And I think I explained this in one of my reels on Facebook before. So some of you might be quite familiar with that. The third one is the core of this session. It's the main aim of this session, which is identifying about 40 basic terminologies in the field of ELT. And I think you know what ELT stands for, right? English? English what?
English language teaching.
Yes, and some people say English language training. Anyway, the last one is discussing the importance of being familiar with these terminologies, because some people don't think that terminologies or being familiar with terminologies is essential, is important. So we will discuss that and we will see if it's important or not important. So these are the 4 aims and we will be revisiting them. We will be checking them from time to time. Yes, if you have a question, can you please put it in the chat box now? Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can participate by writing, no problem. So let's begin with this very quick task. In the chat box, please fill in the gaps. We have 4 words and 4 gaps. We need to form the definition of terminology. Please start now. Okay. Subject set special expression. Do you guys agree? Subject set expression. There is one word missing here. Subject set special expressions. So the first one, the terminology of a subject. What's the subject that we're talking about in our field? Teaching. Yes, wonderful. So the terminology of a subject is the of words and this one, expressions. So is the set of special words and expressions used in connection with it. So when we say ELT terminologies, we're talking about a special set of words and expressions used in English language teaching. If we say medical terminologies, we're talking about a specific set or a special set of words and expressions used in the medical field. All right. So this is the definition of terminologies, and this is the source, Collins Dictionary. You can just click it when you have the presentation. I will upload it in my Telegram channel. Okay, the second one is about the difference between initialisms and acronyms. And for this task, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to work in the breakout rooms. So please take a screenshot of the question before I send you to the breakout rooms. What's the difference? And don't forget to give examples. Okay, are you guys ready? Please give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Or just type 1 in the chat. Thank you very much. Okay, so okay, welcome back everyone. I see some of you are not sure about the definition of initialism and acronyms. Some of you are puzzled, a bit confused. So let me ask you a question. Which one is pronounced as a word?
Acronyms.
Acronyms.
So
Acronyms.
initialism
Acronym for words.
separate letters.
Acronyms.
Right?
Initialism.
Yes. So definitely yes. Initialisms are pronounced as separate words. Acronyms are pronounced as a word. A good example is here, ELT. We never say ELT. So it's always ELT. So ELT would pronounce each letter separately. This means it's an initialism. Okay, we take the first letter from each word, English language teaching. Look at this example, CELTA. We never say CELTA. Have you ever heard it like this? CELTA? No.
No.
It's always CELTA. Okay, that's why it's an acronym. And both of them are, can you give me one word for both of them?
Abbreviations.
Yes. Both of them are abbreviations. Abbreviation. And we have one more definition here, if we want to be more specific. Abbreviations can be like PRON, this one. PRON is for pronunciation. ADJ is for adjective. N is for noun. V is for verb. Prep is for preposition, and so on. Okay, so all these are abbreviations, but to be more specific, this is an initialism when we say the first letter of each word separately. When we say the whole word as all the letters as one word, it's an acronym. All right, do you have any question about this? So now I would like to give you a very small test here. Can you just type in the chat? The first one is, I'm not gonna say it, so please, the first one, what do you think?
TTT and initialism.
Okay, good. TTT can be teacher token time or test teach test. So it's an initialism. Okay, look at the second one. I don't want to say it.
Acronym.
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 TEFL. Yes, it's said as TEFL.
TEFL, yes.
TEFL.
Look at the third one.
Initialism as well.
CPD. So it's initialism. And look at the last one.
Initialism.
Acronym.
Acronym. The last one, number 4, is acronym.
Yes. So initialism, acronym, initialism, acronym. Now we're done with the first two objectives in this session. Please, if you have any question, put it in the chat box or open your microphone and ask me before we move on to the core of the session. We are just like starting. We didn't like start the main part of the session, which is about terminologies. So if you have any question, please put it in the chat box now. All right. So I usually I usually when I ask for questions, I usually allow 10 seconds. If no one talks, then I proceed. I keep going. All right. So we will move on now to the third objective or the third aim of this session, which is the main part of the session, the core of the session, 40 basic terminologies. I divided them into 7 groups. I believe they are 7. Hold on a second. Yeah. I divided them into 7 groups just to make them easy to all of you. So the first group here is this one. The biggest terms in the field. I think all teachers should be familiar with these terminologies or these initialisms or acronyms. So what do you think the one in the middle is?
English language teaching.
English language teaching.
All of them should be written in uppercase, the initialisms and the acronyms. Okay, that's a relevant quick question, so I answer it now. Other questions will be tackled at the end of the session. So ELT is English language teaching. Some people say English language training. Okay, how about CPD?
Continued performance development.
Continuous
Professional development.
development. This one should be capitalized. Okay, so type. All right, PDP. PD is what?
Is it pre,
PD
during,
is
post?
professional development.
Professional development plan. So if you're working in a school or university and you have a problem with your teaching, they will most probably design a professional development plan to help you overcome your weaknesses. Okay, the last one, ESL.
English for speakers of other languages.
English to speakers of other languages. Cambridge has
English to speakers of other languages.
examinations actually like CET. Okay, so English to speakers of other languages. These are the biggest terms in the field, very common. Everyone should be familiar with. Okay, let's move on to group 2. This is group 2. Delta, TEFL, TESOL, FELT. Those are which level teaching qualifications or teaching certificates? Which level? What do you think?
Level 5.
Yes.
Level
All of
5.
them are level 5 according to the UK Teaching Qualifications Framework. Okay.
Yes.
Delta is a level
7.
7. MA is level 7. PhD is level 8. So these are certificates. Delta is what? Delta is not a certificate. It's a
Diploma.
yes, it's a diploma. You're right. And MA is not a certificate, is not a diploma, it's a
Master.
it's a degree.
Master's degree.
It's a degree.
Of arts.
So,
It is a degree. MA is a degree.
yeah, because many people were asking me when I finished the Delta, because you know Delta is an equivalent to an MA degree. It's level 7 according to the UK qualifications framework. But many people were asking me, can you go for a PhD after finishing the Delta? The answer is no.
No.
Delta is a diploma, okay? It's not a degree. So you cannot proceed to a PhD unless you have an MA degree. So yes, CELTA stands for
Certificate in English language.
Certificate in teaching English
adult.
language
to adults,
adults.
and now they changed to adults and they made it to speakers of other languages because they added something about teaching young learners. So they changed the name, but they didn't change the acronym because the acronym is a brand name. They cannot change it easily, right?
Mhm.
Delta, of course, is the same as the CELTA, but it's diploma in teaching English.
Teaching English to speakers of other languages.
Previously, it was called diploma in teaching English to adults. But they also added something about teaching young learners. So they changed the name, but they didn't change the acronym, as I told you, because it's a brand name. They cannot change it easily.
Please, Doctor, can someone join Delta before Celta?
I did, but I don't recommend that to anyone. Please go for the Celta first, or TEFL, or TESOL, or FELT, then go for the Delta, because you will need the knowledge of level 5 certificates when you go for Delta Module 2. TEFL stands for what?
Teaching English as a
foreign
foreign
language.
As a foreign Teaching English as a foreign language.
Yes. And TESOL is the same. It's just the name is different.
Teaching English as a
TESOL is
second
teaching
language.
English to speaker of other languages.
Yes.
Of other languages.
And FELT is a local brand from the American University.
Continental of English language teaching.
Yeah, this is from the American University in Cairo. And all of them, if you ask me, all of them are level 5 certificates. Okay? Level 5 certificates. This one is level 7 diploma. So can I go for the Delta without having one of these qualifications?
No. No, I
You
guess
can.
yes.
You can.
said you
I
did.
did. I did this.
Yes,
I
you
did
can.
this. I didn't do the Celta. I didn't do TEFL, TESOL, FEL. I didn't do anything, and I just jumped into the Delta. But I suffered.
How come?
To suffer.
Dr. Said,
Yes, please.
can we depend on courses which like TESOL, but which is offered by Coursera or something like that, or
That's a
we
very
must?
good question. That's a very good question. These courses are good, but the only problem, it's only theoretical. There is no practical side, no TPs. That's the most important when you go for Delta Module 2. This is my Delta certificate, guys, if you have never seen it. Hopefully, inshallah, all of you can one day have the Delta, if you wish.
Inshallah.
And as you see, Cambridge English Level 7. And this is my MA certificate and transcript, if you haven't seen it. Hopefully, inshallah, all of you also can get a master's degree or a PhD, whoever wants. Okay, let's move on to group 3. Okay, so now back to the topic. Please, again, if you have any relevant question, put it in the chat box. If the question is not relevant, just delay it until we finish the webinar. We can just take all your questions. So LP is clear from here.
Lesson plan.
Lesson planning.
Yes. TP.
Lesson plan.
Teaching practice.
Teaching practice.
Teaching practice.
Teaching practice. This is the most, you can also call them TPs. Okay.
Yes.
Teaching practice is the most important thing in a TEFL course. If you do a TEFL course or a TESOL course without teaching practice, that means it's theoretical. It's only assignments and input sessions. It's theoretical. It's not beneficial. I mean, 100% beneficial. In order for a TEFL course to be 100% beneficial, you must have some teaching practices. You must teach vocabulary, teach grammar, listening, reading, writing, speaking, and get feedback from your tutor. This is how you improve. This is how you qualify yourself for professional practice. LS?
Language skills.
It could be language systems or language skill. Okay? How many systems do we have in the language? We know the skills: listening, reading, writing, speaking.
3.
How many systems? Language systems?
4.
You got the lexical?
4 systems. We have 4
systems.
Yes.
Vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation,
vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation,
functional
language.
Yes. Vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, functional language. Good. How about LS, LAS? Language analysis
sheets.
sheet. Sometimes they call it language analysis form. Language analysis form. In this form, before you do your lesson, Okay, before the lesson, you do something which is called linguistic analysis or language analysis. You analyze the target language, which is grammar or vocabulary or function. How about this one? After you finish your lesson?
Post-lesson reflection.
Post-lesson reflection.
Post-lesson reflection.
Some people call it PLE. Post-lesson
Evaluation?
Yes.
Evaluation.
A form you fill out about yourself. If you achieved your aims, okay, if you did everything in a proper way, if you needed to change something the next time you teach. So this is reflection. So all these terminologies are about lesson planning. They are called PCs. LAS is before, PLR is after. So this is pre-planning. This one is post-planning. Okay, group 4, lesson frameworks and related terminologies. These are the frameworks that you need to use when you're going to teach. Okay, so let's begin with this one, PPP or triple P.
Presentation,
PowerPoint
practice,
presentation.
PowerPoint
Presentation, practice,
production.
Production.
This is a traditional way. If you don't, it's not bad, but it's a traditional way. If you don't have a text, you can just present the target language, vocabulary or grammar, and then you can give your students controlled and semi-controlled practice activities, and then you can invite them to write something or to speak about something. That's simply it. The second one, TTT.
Test, teach, test.
Talking time.
Teacher talking time.
No, here it's a framework. It's not teacher talking time. It's a framework.
Test, teach, test.
Teach, test, teach.
And what's the difference between PPP and TTT?
Test.
If you think
Teacher talking time.
No, we're not talking about teacher talking time now.
Test them first before you teach the thing.
Yes, if you think their level is higher than the target language, or if you think students are familiar with the target language, so you can test, teach test. If you think
should know their schemata.
no, this is something, this is lead-in, this is something else.
Okay.
But here I'm talking about what, guys? I will give you an example, okay? If you're going to teach elementary level learners, the present simple tense, are you going to present practice production or test, teach, test? Elementary, not beginner.
PPP.
Yes, no, not PPP, not PPP, because they studied the present simple tense. They studied the present simple tense when they were beginner level students.
Yes.
Now they are elementary. You think they are familiar, they know it. So you start with testing them, and then you teach according to the weaknesses, and then you test them again. But if they are beginner, don't test them because they have never studied the present simple. So you can follow the presentation practice production. The best one to do is this one, PD.
Guided discovery.
Guided discovery.
Usually there will be a text, listening or reading text, and students are going to discover the rule, the meaning, the form by themselves. So this is text-based guided discovery. That's the best one ever that you can do, and it's not that it's a bit challenging, I believe. This one is not very common.
Test-based learning.
Task-based learning.
Yes, task-based learning. Some people say TBT, task-based teaching. Okay, and here we have some related terminologies. What do you think this one is? TL.
Target language.
Yes. The target language is the language that you are focusing on in the lesson, vocabulary, grammar, or functional language. And PTV.
Pre-teach vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
Yes, we use it. A receptive.
We have a text-based.
Yes, and in a receptive skill lesson, PT, teach vocabulary. And this one is a receptive skills lesson or productive skills lesson, which are listening, reading, writing, speaking. The final one is ECDW.
This is cute.
The instructor said to us, elephants can drink water.
Yes.
Illicit check drill
I
right.
give it a different.
Illicit, drill,
I
contact.
gave it a different mnemonic. I say Saeed can draw,
Drink.
not
Draw.
drink. Everyone can drink.
Draw.
Wine.
Yeah.
Drink
Draw.
wine.
No.
Water.
Drink watermelon.
Drink well.
Draw
Draw well.
well. Draw well.
Yeah.
I can draw very well. Don't worry. So it's a fact.
Illicit check drill.
Yeah. If you're teaching vocabulary, first you should elicit, and there are more than 10 ways to elicit vocabulary from students. After that, you should check understanding by asking questions. Like, for example, degree. You can say, do we receive it after graduating from university? Yes. Does it help us to find a job? Yes. Do we get it after finishing elementary school? No.
No.
So you just check understanding. D is drilling.
Charlie.
You say the word, you put it in a sentence, you drill it in a sentence, you ask students to drill, to repeat after you, chorally and individually. Then after that, you highlight the stress on the word. You put the word and then you ask them how many syllables does it have? Where is the stress? Is it on the first syllable, the second syllable? You ask them what type of
part of speech.
Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? And so on. So these are terminologies about frameworks. And group 5 is about
Lesson delivery.
yes. Now we said the first one was lesson planning. After that, we said the frameworks. And now we say the delivery itself and classroom management when it comes to teaching, actual teaching. ICQs.
Instructions,
check
checking
questions.
questions.
So before you check the instructions, what should you do as a teacher when you give a task? Giving instructions. Okay? We talk about 3 things. We talk about the pattern of interaction. You want them to work in pairs, in groups, or individually. And then you talk about the task. What do you want them to do? And talk about the time.
Time.
So let me give you an example now. Now I'd like you to work in groups to talk about your favorite holiday, and you have 3 minutes. Now I give you instructions. Okay, I want to make sure that you got my instructions. I shouldn't repeat them.
Yeah.
If you repeat them, that will be echoing. So you should ask them. So now, what are you going to do? If they're high level, you can ask them, what are you going to do? They'll say,
Talk about our holiday.
talk about our favorite holiday. Okay, good. If they are low level, don't ask them an open-ended question. You can say, are you going to talk about your favorite holiday or your favorite sport? So they will say, no, favorite holiday.
Yes or no question.
Are you going to work in pairs or in groups? In groups. If you're teaching online, you don't have to ask them about the pattern of interaction because you're the one who is going to send them to the breakout room. Okay, how much time do you have for that?
3 minutes.
Yes, here we go. Then you send them to the breakout rooms or you give them the task to do. So before instructions, checking questions, make sure you give
The instructions.
And the question is, do I have always to ask instructions, checking questions? Always. Yes or no?
No.
No.
You don't have to. You don't have to ask instructions, checking questions every time. If you think students are confused, if you think students are not familiar with the task, then you can ask them. Okay, if you think your students are familiar with the task, then you can just give the instructions and give the task. If you think the task is really difficult and instructions are not enough, what can you do?
Give them an example.
Yes, model. You can model the task.
Can model, yeah.
If you have questions, you can do the first one with them. And then you say, hey guys, now we did the first one. Please continue to do the rest of the questions. CCQ, that's a big term.
Concept checking questions.
Concept checking questions.
After you explain vocabulary, after you explain grammar, okay, functional language, you can ask them some questions to make sure they understand the target language. And that's a whole thing. It's not going to be like it needs a whole session to be covered, actually. FB.
Feedback.
Or Facebook. Some people, they go away from ELT and they just go away to social media sites and say Facebook. No. FB is feedback.
Feedback.
And the thing that we should do when we're giving feedback is we need to diversify the ways we give feedback. Like sometimes we show them the answers. Sometimes we give them the answers. Sometimes we ask them to answer, nominate some students to answer. Sometimes we ask them to peer check. Okay, so different ways of giving feedback. The feedback methods, we should use a variety of them. MFP or MPF.
Meaning function pronunciation.
Meaning what?
Meaning form pronunciation.
Yes.
Or meaning pronunciation form.
Meaning form pronunciation if you're teaching grammar. Meaning pronunciation form if you're teaching vocabulary. Because in a vocabulary lesson, pronunciation comes before the form. Remember the ECDW, okay? So you drill and then you highlight the form of the word. What type of word is it? How many syllables? Where is the stress and so on? DEC. After
Delayed error correction.
Delayed error correction.
At the end of the lesson, students might be speaking about something for 5 minutes. It's a fluency task. Teachers should never interrupt. So teachers only monitor and obtrusively take notes of students' language and content. And after they finish, the teacher should invite the students to correct some sentences. This is called DEC. It's not December, it's delayed error correction. So you should be aware. The last one is
teachers talking time and students talking time.
Student talking time.
Yes, many people think that teacher talking time is harmful. It's not harmful. You just need to minimize it and maximize students talking time. That's the point. Or if you can make it 40% teacher, 60% student, that's fine. The problem is some teachers have high TTT. What do I mean by high TTT?
High teachers
talking time.
Yes, they are not teaching. They are lecturing. They are talking all the time. So this is the problem. This is how TTT can be harmful. But TTT can be supported, can be beneficial if you minimize it and maximize student time, STT. Okay.
And that student is Dr. Said, that helps the learners to expose to the language.
Yes, one of the benefits of teacher talking time is exposing students to the language. Yeah.
Yes.
And participating, cheering up.
Yes, of course. I'm not saying teacher talking time is always harmful. It's only harmful when you talk a lot. Okay, when you just keep talking for the whole session. Students are just nodding the head or saying single words. So that's the problem. And you will be killed. You'll be tired. Okay, you'll be sick. So learn how I was live on Facebook last year. I was talking about an approach which is called the silent way. I delivered 10 tips on how to speak less in class. If you haven't watched that, just go to search silent way.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Said.
You're welcome. And I would try to collect all the materials for this session and put it in one folder and upload it in my Telegram channel after the session, maybe during this week. So stay tuned.
Okay.
You can join the channel. You will find the presentation and you will find all the relevant materials, inshallah. Videos, plans, and you're welcome. So how many groups left now?
5.
Now we talked, the first group was
Two groups.
just recap. The first one was this. Big terminologies.
Yes.
And certificates and the qualifications. Then lesson planning. After lesson planning, we had
Listen frame.
frameworks and related terms.
Framework.
After that, lesson delivery.
Lesson delivery.
And delivery.
Management.
And the classroom management.
And classroom management techniques. Yes, like teacher talking time, student talking time. And now, if you guys are interested in the CELTA, these are the 4 CELTA written assignments. And as you know, CELTA has 2 main components: the assignments and the TPs, the teaching practices. So this is one of the main components in the CELTA course. FOL.
Focus on the learner.
Yes, it's the first assignment. Is entitled Focus on the Learner. It will help you understand the nature of the learner, create class profile, okay, diagnose your students' strengths and weaknesses, help your students overcome their weaknesses. Very beneficial assignment indeed. Look at the second one, LRT and SRT.
Language-related task or lessons from the classroom.
Now this is lessons from the classroom. Yes, this one focuses on language analysis. You know language analysis, right? Linguistic analysis.
Mm-hmm.
This is a noun, singular, countable, like this. Verb, main verb, irregular, like this. You analyze language-related task. This is a very important assignment. It's all a learning experience, all about learning, you know. So if you get a resubmission, no problem at all. You can even, I mean, like, out of these 4 assignments, guys, you can fail 1 assignment and you still complete the course. So that's also good news. Even if they are challenging, you need to learn something out of them. This one is about designing a listening or a reading lesson on paper.
That was the best, actually.
A pre-reading, while reading, post-reading. And this one is lessons from the classroom. It's a reflection assignment. You summarize your learning experience. You talk about your strengths, your weaknesses, and your plan after the CELTA. Because the CELTA is not the end of the qualifications. It's just an initial qualification. So you should have a plan, a professional development plan after the CELTA. You should never stop at the CELTA level because it's an initial qualification. It's for people who are not teachers and want to be teachers. So this one is really beneficial and really easy. So I could say out of these 4 assignments, the most challenging one is which one? Can you?
TP.
The second one.
This one.
The language-related task. Yes, the language-related task is the most difficult.
Yes, it's the most challenging one, I believe.
Yes.
Because
although it seems,
like
it's very easy, but it's not actually.
Like math, you know, there is no innovation. Like you have to analyze language accurately, the meaning, the form, the pronunciation. You have to anticipate problems. You have target language, 2 lexical.
And even the CCQs.
Yeah, even the
CCQs have to be very related,
yes.
And you're not required to use the target language at all.
That's why don't worry if you get a resubmission. That's the default thing. And don't worry if you even fail one of the assignments. You still can pass the whole CELTA course. Group 7 is the last group, which is about common terms.
Common terms.
L2. What's L1, L2?
L1
First language, second language.
The mother language, yes.
Language 1, language 2.
So for
Second
Arab learners, what's our L1?
Arabic.
And if we're learning English, so English is our
First language.
Second language.
And can we use L1 in class sometimes?
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes we can use it.
Some people are totally
Yes,
against using L1, but using L1 is not a sin. Right now, I'm teaching in a university.
Abstract vocabulary.
Yes, I'm teaching actually right now. I'm teaching pre-intermediate level students. In the first quarter, I was teaching elementary. They were elementary, so they needed some Arabic. It's not allowed, by the way, but they needed some Arabic. So I made it easy for them, and I was just saying some words for a while. But this quarter, now they became pre-intermediate, so I stopped speaking Arabic with them. You know, so using L1 is not a sin. You can just use it if you have a reason for that, but don't overuse it. Don't just keep explaining everything in Arabic, because students learn the language. It's not just by teaching or by the teacher going and teaching. It's also by the teacher going and talking to them. All right. So how about T and SS?
Teacher
And students.
Teachers and
Yeah.
as for students.
Yeah, so these are two of the IP. IP is interaction patterns, like
Interaction patterns.
pair
Features.
work, individual work. We have 3 interaction patterns, main 3 interaction pattern, group work, pair work, and individual work. We have one more, which is mingling. We have plenary or whole class when you're talking to everyone in the main section. Teacher to student. Okay, easy. And if you're writing a plan, you will use these 2 abbreviations. T asks students to read the passage and answer the question. Students discuss the answers in pairs. So you will definitely use them if you're doing a lesson plan. How about HO and AK?
Handout.
Handouts.
Yeah, any worksheet you give it to the students is called HO handout.
Answer key.
And after they do the task, I said you can use different ways to give feedback. One of the ways is to give them the answer key, to give them the paper with the answer, the questions with the answer. Another way is to show them to display the answer on the board, on the projector, using the projector. A third way is to nominate students to read and answer the question. IWB.
Interactive whiteboard.
If you're lucky teacher if you have an interactive whiteboard in your school. Do you guys have it?
Yes.
I have an interactive screen actually.
Yeah,
we have it in the university.
That's very good. You can use it.
I've got the most recent one in technology in my class actually.
Great. So you don't have to use the mouse all the time.
No, I've got a PC and an Android systems in one device.
Even students can go and touch the board and play around. They can answer questions.
Yeah, you can download everything on there. You can
Yeah,
download applications. You can download. It has both of them. It's like a very large or like an enormous iPad.
Great. And the most important thing is to have an interactive course book. Interactive course book means it's a course book
you just click.
Interact
Course
with.
book design.
You can focus on a specific activity. You can show students the answers. You can hide the answers. Okay. You can move from one page to another. You can play
games.
You can play a video. So if you have an interactive whiteboard and an interactive course book, then you're lucky.
You're lucky.
Alhamdulillah, I have both of them in the university now. We were teaching from an academic course book from Oxford. It's called
What course book do you teach in the university?
Few Skills from Oxford.
Few Skills.
Yeah, it's not general English, it's academic English.
Yeah.
English for academic purposes.
Yes, like for Faculty of Medicine, like.
Yeah, I actually my students are all from the Faculty of Business Administration. So I'm teaching them English for academic purposes, and I will make a video about the course book.
Very good.
So the final thing is VAK. You're welcome. What is VAK?
Visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic, yes. So some students are visual, they learn by seeing. Some students are auditory, they learn by hearing. And some students are kinesthetic, they learn by doing things and by reading and writing. And there is a test. I'm not sure if you've ever used it. VAK test. Have you ever used it, guys?
No.
I should put it in with the materials, okay?
Maybe no.
In Telegram, you can use it. There are some questions you give to your students, and then according to their answers, you can divide them into Omar is 40%
visual,
40% auditory, and 20% kinesthetic. This means Omar does not like playing around, does not like moving, leaving his desk. Okay? So
Could you please send us
Send
the
us
link to
the
Telegram?
Telegram link, please.
yeah, I will show you. I will show you. I will show you my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, my personal account on Facebook, and my Telegram channel link. Okay, so the last, this is the last group actually, and now I'd like to double check with you if we're done with the second aim of the session. Are we?
Yes. Yes.
all of them.
Yeah, 7 groups. Okay, we finished 7 groups. Actually, I divided them. There are 40 terminologies. I finished them in 4 reels on Facebook, and I put them in 2 posters on my Facebook page. If have you seen these 2 posters?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
But because it's a session, I just wanted to divide things up to make it, easier to digest. Actually, now we would like to discuss this final thing: the importance of being familiar with these teaching terminologies. Because some people say, why you're making it difficult? Life is easy, teaching is easy. We've never heard of these terminologies. Why you're trying to say that all teachers need to know? What do you think, guys? Do you think it's important to be familiar with these terminologies? Yes or no? Please tell me in the chat box.
Yes.
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 Why? Just give me one reason in the chat box, please.
Saving time.
Huh? Professional development, yes. Session more organized, yes. If you work in a school or in a reputable place, they will be using these terminologies. They will be using ICQs, CCQs, TTT, STT. I'm saying, what? What's that? What do you mean? So you will not be familiar. You'll be left behind. And here I got 2 examples. Look at the first example. In the TP points, in a CELTA course or a TEFL course, the tutor wrote to a teacher, in the PTV stage, do not forget to ECDW the new words. The candidate, what? Confused. Why do you think the candidate is confused here?
Doesn't know these abbreviations.
Not aware of
Yeah, he doesn't know what PTV means. What does it stand for? ECDW. He doesn't know, or she doesn't know. And you will have to send a message or send an email to the tutor, asking them to clarify what they mean by PTV and ECDW, right? They'll be puzzled, in trouble. So do you guys remember PTV stands for what?
Pre-teaching vocabulary.
Yes, pre-teach vocabulary. And ECDW?
Elicit check,
drill, and word stress.
and right.
Right. Yeah, write the word and start highlighting the form. Yes. And I got another example, not from TP points. TP points are usually given to teachers before teaching. So I got you another example from the TEFL courses as well, but it's not from the TP points. It's from feedback after teaching. The tutor said, you should have had DEC after the 3-year oral practice. The candidate, what? Why do you think that the candidate is confused?
He doesn't know what to refer to.
Again, not familiar with the abbreviation.
Yes, and what does it stand for? What does the tutor?
Delayed error correction.
Yes, you invite students to correct some mistakes, and you engage with students' conversation, the content. Okay, so done with all the aims, guys? Because there is a quiz, and I'm going to send you the certificate now. You were asking about Some people were asking about the certificate. I will send it to you now in the chat box. You can just change your name and you can save it as a PDF and as a picture as well. And you can post it anywhere if you wish, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. So before we do the quiz, I'll send you the quiz link in the chat. Okay, there are only 6 questions. You can do the quiz and then you can check your answers. If you want to make sure about your answers, you can just check your answers. And you can do it again if you want. Yes, I will upload the session presentation and all the related materials to my Telegram channel. And I will send you the link now. You can join the Telegram channel so that you can find the presentation and all the materials I mentioned in this session. I will put them all in one folder and share them with you. So if those people who will be watching this webinar on YouTube, you can find the link in the comments or in the description box.
Yeah, I finished and I got 6 also.
Okay.
I have got 6 also.
Great. So here I'm going to go back to the presentation. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask me. But now are my social media sites. The first one is my YouTube channel. You will find the recording of this webinar and many other webinars and videos on my YouTube channel.
Already subscribed.
Thank you very much. You can find many other webinars and many other videos actually.
I am there.
So please visit the YouTube channel.
It's a highly recommended channel.
Thank you very much. And this is my official Facebook page.
I recommend all.
Same as YouTube channel, but this one has some posters. And this is my Telegram channel. You can find lots and lots of materials. You can find this presentation and the materials I mentioned in this presentation. Probably during this week, okay? I just need some time. And this is my personal account on Facebook. You can just follow or send a friend request. Now, if you guys have any question, I will send you this in the chat box now.
Okay, Dr. Said, I have a question.
Yeah, I will take all your questions. I don't mind staying here for, for like half an hour more. No problem. Do you guys see the links now?
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you guys see the links now in the chat box?
Yes.
So I will give you 4 minutes to click the links and join, follow, subscribe, like, and so on. Then we will go back and receive your questions. Okay, I will mute you now. And then I will see the questions in the chat. I'll go over them one by one. These are the references, 2 of the references. And thank you very much, everyone, for being here.